Good morning. Today's date is June 17, 2025. Time is 11 a.m. Cadence. Now, I wanted to go over this next video and the series of clips within the video. This represents the parade for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army held on June 14, 2025. Now, there were different expectations and different schools of thought with this parade. If you were there to see it, you were one of the very few because of the way that it was organized and constrained. Most of the area was gated and blocked off to the general public, and even if it was open, the communication was extremely bad. Some people knew where they needed to be, while others were still wandering around trying to figure it out. There was no reason for the gated areas. This was a parade. It was supposed to be open to the American people. After all, the taxpayers funded it. Now, some may feel, and deservedly so, that this was a self-serving celebration for one man. I was down there personally and agree it was very disjointed. However, there were several schools of thought. Number one, let's not forget that this was a celebration for the Army, and I think the Army saw it as such. Many people look at the soldiers walking out of step and contribute that to them not wanting to be there. Now, there have been some underlying resent for the person that occupies the White House, but I got the feeling that the pride of being in the parade to honor the Army was a privilege, and many of the soldiers saw it that way. Not necessarily for Trump, but for the U.S. Army. When we look at the parade, it's measured against Donald Trump's expectations and admiration for other dictators and a few allies around the world as well, such as France. However, on thinking about it after the last several days, it was never meant to be something like that, at least in the eyes of the Army. I can't read Donald Trump's brain, but I can assume that he probably was looking at a more North Korean type parade, giving him sole allegiance.
Seen Mr. Kim here at the White House?
Could happen. I mean,
they talked about that yesterday.
I think it's something that could happen. Yeah. Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he is the strong head. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks, and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same.
But looking back at it through the videos, I can see the Army's intention was to educate and to chronologically explain the mission of the Army and its campaign throughout the years. I started off with this word cadence. I believe the reason why a lot of the groups weren't marching in cadence, as seen here.
Bayonet Division during their deployment to Korea in June of 1950.
Well, because in order to do that, you need some sort of cadence in the way of either music or an individual calling out cadence.
Your brother was home when you left. You're right. Your sister was home when you left. You're right. Your cat was home when you left. You're right. Your dog was home when you left. You're right. Your mama, your brother, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your cat, dog was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. I left.
Now, all these groups are fully capable and have been trained for many years on how that works. In the video clips, you can see that they are not in lockstep. It's because the emphasis wasn't on their marching, but the narration in the background and the description of their unit and campaign was the focus. In other words, this parade in the eyes of the Army was for teaching, not for glorification of one man. And in those regards, I feel they've accomplished their mission. I would have realized that earlier had I actually seen the parade firsthand. It was gated and very poorly planned. However, I was down in the area for most of the day. All this is to say is that the Army was there. Trump was there. They were for two different reasons. I can appreciate the efforts of our military on putting on a show to inform America on its history. Too bad that it was subdued by bad planning and severely restricted areas.